It is finally build day. I'm so excited for this day. It has come finally after long, long days. I am finally here. This build day, we are gonna be building this. This is the most simple, most basic pull-up bar. What? Oh, it's powerful. It's gonna be cost effective and easy, and I'm gonna show you how to do it right here. I put a poll on my main channel here and asked you where you would like me to see this built. And it was overwhelmingly that you wanted me to build this right here in my messy workshop. Oh dear. Yeah, this is after I've cleaned up. Oh my gosh, it's bad. I'm trying. So I'm gonna build this right here in front of my mini moon board. I've got the crash pads out of the way, and we're gonna get it done right here because that's what you wanted me to do. All these measurements are in the build plans. Please support my channel, I appreciate it, thank you. All right, so I've got my mark down here. I'm gonna take my speed square and I'm just gonna square this up. Now I'm gonna tip this up. I'm gonna mark it. Now, speed squares, they have your degrees right here and then they have your roof pitches right here. Now that I know that that degree line is exactly where I need it, and I can go ahead and make my cut. I guess you probably wanna get some safety glasses too. Oh yeah. Time to get some real work done. Because our blade is not long enough, we can only cut through one board. However, because we stacked it up perfectly together and lined up, now we don't have to measure for our next cut. We've got this beautiful scribe line on there, and it saves a little bit of time. Boom. Now for this board, this is what's going up and holding our pull-up bars, and I do have some little notches to cut out here at the top. That's mainly just for looks. You don't really have to do that, but I'm gonna save myself a little bit of time and I'm gonna go over to the chop saw and cut these off at the chop saw. Our risers are cut. Now we're on to the feet. Isn't that exciting? Now this board, both ends don't look great. See, it's splitting right there. So that's gonna make it a little bit weaker. And we don't want it to be weak. So I'm gonna try to cut as much of that off as possible. Now this is an 8-foot long board, and I need my feet at 4 feet long. So there's not really anything that I can do. However, there's a miter on here that we need to cut. So I can actually, I've got a little bit of wiggle room. So this is what I'm gonna do. And we're gonna split the middle here. So right here is the middle. Get rid of the tape measure for now. This is a 2x6, and the actual dimensions of a 2x6 is 1.5 by 5.5, give or take. So the center of that is 2 3/4. So here's my center. Now, we're going to put our angle right there. Now I've got my angle mark. It's going right through the center of the board, and we're gonna get about an inch longer of a board because we're doing it this way. So let's make this cut. We're gonna split the line. Just like that, we have our feet cut and our risers cut. Now it's time to move on to the plywood. That's heavy. First, I need to set up a fence. This is a jig that I use for drilling T-nut holes in climbing wall panels, but all you need is a long straight edge, so a scrap piece of plywood or something else. And again, if this is something that you're a little afraid of, usually you can get the big box stores to make this cut for you. Where's my tape measure? Tape measure? Here, tape, 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 tape. Tape. Here, tape, tape, tape. Tape measure. There you are. Now I found my tape measure and a different pencil that I need to sharpen again. So let's just go ahead and sharpen that. Lightly clamping that side. Clamp this side. And we double check this. All right, we're good. Bring my blade up so it's just barely poking down off of the board. It would be a really good idea to unplug your saw when you're doing that, but I am limited on my good ideas. So let's get this cut. Double check it right here in the middle. Beautiful. We're looking good. Let's get this other stuff out of here. Now it's time to do a little bit of consulting to the build plans. I normally don't have build plans this nice when I'm building stuff. I tend to wing it a little bit, but I'm trying to get better so I can share it with you. We're gonna go ahead and put some sacrificial 2x4s underneath our plywood here. And that's going to allow us to just not get anything in a bind. It's going to hold everything up nice. Just right where it needs to be. Take your time on this part because you want to get this first one right on. All right, we got this first piece cut out. It's looking pretty good. So now what we're gonna do is we're flipping this over. We're gonna line this up. Get it perfect now. All of the measurements that we did before. Don't have to do it on this one because we took our time on the first one. This is so flippin' exciting. I'm getting it done. We are on to the assembly of this. I've got one of the feet right here and one of the side panels. And we want to set this side panel a 1/4 inch up from the bottom of this. So here we have our foot. It's tapered down here. This is the side that's going to be resting on the ground, the floor. And we want to have this plywood just a little bit elevated up off of that surface, just in case that surface is damp. It's not going to wick into the plywood. So I'm going to go ahead and make my 1/4 inch mark. And then I'm going to set my plywood on here. Oh yes, beautiful. So what I'm doing right now is I'm marking the board so we can glue it. If we put a little bit on both surfaces, we can break the surface tension and it'll be a much stronger bond. Work this around. Where you put your glue is where your glue is going to stick. And you don't have to use a bar clamp, but it does make life a little bit easier. That part's done. This is exciting how this is coming together. Let's go ahead. What? I messed up. You don't use 2.5 here. You gotta use 2 inch. All right, well, let's fix that and then I'll come back. go. I'm gonna flip this over. The riser here that we have the mitered edge on is gonna go down towards the foot. We trace. So excited about this. Plenty of glue on that one, boy. Because we're using 2-inch screws, I can actually run one in from the back here. We don't need to do this, but I want to help hold it while we spin it around. Oh, look at all of that gooey glue.
It looks like icing.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what you want to see when you put a joint together. You want to see a little bit of squeeze. Maybe not that much squeeze out, but you do want to see squeeze out. We got to get this off. You know the drill. We're gonna glue both sides now, so there's gonna be a lot of glue, a lot of screwing, and I'll go ahead and return when this is done. All right, I was afraid that I put the wrong screws in this one, but I didn't. They're not screwed together. We're gonna take this one, set it over here. Oh, this is gonna be perfect. It seems so simple in the build plans because gravity doesn't exist on build plans, but gravity does exist in real life. I don't know whether it'd be easier to hold it up like this. Yeah, no. We got to get this screwed off to the back of this. That's what gives us our strength. I've got my vertical piece going up. I'm just worrying about one now. I've got a scrap piece of 2x6 here on the floor. And then I've got my back panel. So the bottom of this needs to go to the bottom of my leg here. And then the edge here goes to the edge of the 2x6, not to the edge of the plywood. Just in case that is something that you're thinking about or questioning when you're building your own. So let's see if I can work this over. There it is. All right. Also, I'm not going to throw glue on this one. Just in case I want to take this apart in the future, this will allow me to do that. All right, there's one leg. That's the hard one. So I think we're good to go. Let's get this other leg on. There's one last thing that we need to do, and that's put the crowning jewel on this to make it a pull-up bar. This is a 3/4 inch pipe with floor flanges. You can get them at local stores. However, I've noticed that they're kind of an odd item, so they are quite a bit cheaper if you purchase them online. And we are gonna take our 48 inch, 3/4 inch pipe here and screw it on each end. Beautiful. These flanges are 3 inches wide, which means that if I want it on the center of this, I got to go 1 1/4 inch in, and then I think I'm going to go 3 1/4, 3 1/2 inches down from the top. It's just a temporary thing. So I'm shooting brads. This gun, man, I really like this. It has saved my bacon so many times. We're gonna use our Jorgensen clamps here to help pull this in. And this bar, just set in there just like that. Yes, I probably don't even need a hammer to take these pieces off. I don't. That one was in there a little better. It's a little wobbly, and that's because this floor, this concrete floor, when it was poured, it was probably done late at night, and they didn't have it perfectly level. So I am going to now cut some wedges so I can make sure that this base is sitting well, and then we're gonna test it out. Little tappy tap, that might be all we need. Oh, I think that that's a winner. Let me show you a trick with this if you have a hard time doing pull-ups. So I'm gonna step up onto that, and I'm gonna hang straight down, but then I'm gonna stand up using my legs, and then I'm gonna come down. Something to get even better than that, when you're up, take your feet off, and then do a negative. And those negatives will really help you build that up. But here is this pull-up bar. I hope that you've really enjoyed it. I'll see you next time right here on Climber Dad. Now let's see how many pull-ups I can actually do. This is gonna be sad. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm surprised. 5, 6, 7. Woo! That's it, 8. That surprises me. I thought I could only do like 3 or 4. Okay. Yeah! I'm gonna get better than that.